Sorry I've taken such a hiatus. We were redoing our garage and had a bunch of construction, but now I'm in my new space. Yay! Alright, so what I wanted to talk about today is a question that I've been getting about rowing if you can't use your foot or your ankle. So let's say you broke your ankle, like I did falling out of a tree. So let's say you broke your ankle, or you just had surgery, or for some reason you were in a cast or a boot, or you don't want to use your ankle, or you have less mobility. So what we're going to talk about today is that, and I'm going to go over some different situations and why you might choose one method over another for changing your rowing. So first, this is a medical disclaimer. I am a doctor of physical therapy, but this is not medical advice. Please consult with your physician or your surgeon if you had surgery. But feel free to also reach out if you have specific questions. This is just general knowledge. So first thing, let's say that you're in a boot or you just had surgery and you are not supposed to put weight through your foot. That is considered non-weight bearing. There are different weight bearing amounts that people are usually told when they have an injury like that. Non-weight bearing means 0 weight through your foot. If you are non-weight bearing, I do not recommend that you row. The reason is, no matter what you do, you will be putting some weight through your foot, and that is contraindicated or not ideal when you are non-weight bearing. Then there's partial weight bearing. There are variations of partial weight bearing, and I'll go through that and kind of show you why the not weight bearing I don't recommend rowing. But when you are partial weight bearing, usually you can put toe touch weight bearing is being able to put your foot down just to kind of help you balance. Then you can put like 10%, 20%, 25%, 50% of your weight, things like that as you progress through your healing process. So if you are partial weight bearing and you are over a toe touch weight bearing, so toe touch weight bearing, I also do not necessarily recommend that you row because you will again be putting more weight through your foot. Even if you don't think you are, you likely will be. So if you are at the 25% and up for weight bearing, then I would give this a shot. These are just some sliders. You can also use like ceramic plates, or if you're on a carpet, you can put down like a paper plate. Kind of depends on your surface for rowing. I'm a huge fan of these. I've also had people put their foot on a skateboard. I'll kind of talk about a good reason and a bad reason to do that. These honestly are my favorite and they're pretty cheap. I'll put a link below for you. But when you're rowing, let's say it's my right foot that's injured, you would just take your foot, and if you're in a boot, keep your foot in the boot so that you're not doing too much motion. We tend to, when we're using most of the muscles in our body, we tend to use the muscles there without really realizing that we are, or pushing down harder than we think we might, which is why I don't recommend if you are non-weight bearing, so you're not allowed to put weight through your foot, or if you're toe touch, you're likely going to be, even just when I get to this front, I'm putting a significant amount of weight through my heel that I can feel it, which is more than non-weight bearing and toe touch. So that's a big reason I don't recommend it if you're at that point. So when you are able to kind of put your weight through there, what I recommend is basically, if you're in your boot or your shoe or whatever, just putting your heel down onto this slider or whatever you're going to use, and keeping your foot straight like this. So your foot is basically just going to slide back and forth. Now, one of the reasons that I don't necessarily recommend skateboard is a skateboard is very set in where it can go, forwards and backwards. If I'm going forwards and backwards and it's not necessarily the perfect positioning for my hips or for something that's going on, I might kind of force myself into a position that I may not realize might aggravate my foot. If you use these sliders, I can kind of go out to the side if that's more comfortable, or I can come more forward. We tend to go a little bit more out to the side when our foot is out to the side, because we don't want to hit the foot stretch. So usually I'll go out there, but then when I come back, I'm actually closer in. I'll show that straight through so you can see. But it's not usually a forward and backward. For me to go forward and backward straight, I end up doing something kind of funky. I kind of change my position, my butt position. So that's what really happens. But if you get on the slider, I usually recommend starting this way. I don't recommend starting with your foot flat like this, unless you are in a boot and you're feeling like you can't really get that stability staying like this. The downside is if you are in that boot and you're here, sometimes what will happen is it'll get a little bit farther behind us, and it's actually harder for me to slide my foot forward when I have that little bit more weight than I realize I'm putting through. This is nice and easy. This, there's actually some force creating some friction for me, making it a little bit harder. So that's why I normally recommend people start and finish with it in this position. Then you would just row like normal. So you're going to row with that one leg in, and then the other leg just out to the side. So if you're looking to kind of get that movement, really work that left leg, this is how you can do it. So those are some of the pros and cons to when I recommend that people do it, when I don't recommend people do it. Once you are able to actually get out of the boot or put more weight, and you're able to kind of get in here, I actually recommend that as you're working on that ankle movement, because you're going to have less mobility and flexibility when you come out of a cast. Your joint may not have as much motion, you're just going to be it's going to be a little stiffer. So what's going to happen is I recommend that you row with your foot out of the straps. The reason is because if we're in the straps and you're a person who happens to rely a little bit more on the straps, you're going to use it more and it's more likely to aggravate your ankle or your foot. And then you're in your recovery, you're doing your exercises, you're trying to improve, and it might end up setting you backwards without you noticing. So if you row with your feet just on top, it'll kind of stop you from using those straps. The other reason is because this is an extreme position of pointing, which usually people get back pretty quickly, and this is the extreme position with my ankle like this. So it goes from one extreme to the other for my ankle. Instead of making my foot, which it might not have that full range pain-free yet, I can actually put it into a position where it's more comfortable. So you can see it's a little bit more up. Okay, my heel is still connected, I'm connected to the machine, but I'm able to let my ankle do what it wants to do. Then when I come to the front, just stop before you get to that point where it might hurt in the joint or hurt in the calf or hurt anywhere else. So you're just going to have a smaller stroke. So grab that handle, do what you need to here, and then just go as far as is comfortable for that ankle. All right, so that is my recommendations for if you are rowing with a foot or an ankle issue. And if you've got questions, please let me know. Hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified when I get new videos out. Also, please feel free to comment, message me, let me know what your questions are, and I'll make a video for you. All right, I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye.